My name is Rasmus Vinther, and I am an IT developer from Kemp Lauritzen in Denmark. We have been using field service for almost 2 years, and I would like to talk about our experiences with field service and Resco combined in this next section. I come from Kemp Lauritzen, which is the biggest engineering entrepreneur and contractor firm in Denmark. So we do technical services, and we have more than 2,500 employees, and it has existed for more than 135 years. We originally started with electricity, and we have then moved on, merged with a lot of companies, and today we are big Kemp Lauritzen, which has all the technical aspects that are to be found almost, and we've just been growing steadily for the last few years. We work in, for instance, electricity, high and low power, plumbing, cooling, ventilation, fire and fire safety, security system, forging, telecommunication, and much more. We operate primarily in Denmark. I think like 95% of our turnover is in Denmark, but we also have projects in other parts of Scandinavia and some places around the world, but that's mainly on projects with big customers. First of all, the simple answer is that our old system was not getting supported anymore, so we needed to change it. It was also 15 to 20 years old, so it needed a replacement, but that's the first easy answer. Secondly, is that we wanted to have a bigger overview in our resources, and resources could be, for instance, tools, it could be cars, but in our case is most importantly our employees, so our technicians who are doing the actual work in our company, and we needed to have a better overview and how to utilize them better, because what we saw was that we had issues in mainly two areas. The one thing was that we needed to spread the workload over, for instance, seasons. We had big seasonal changes in our activity. The other thing was that we saw some pretty actually cases of where we saw that technicians who maybe was 5 or 10 minutes away were not called onto as an assignment that was maybe urgent, but a technician who was in another city was called, because we did not have the overview where were our technicians in the world and who could actually service this particular job. Last, we needed one system to have a full overview with all of our customers, the documentation we have for our services, and it shouldn't be scattered across a lot of systems. That was what we saw before. We had some examples where we, for instance, had we thought there was 10 assets at the customer. That's what the contract stated, but actually when we went out there was actually maybe 20 or even more. So we didn't have any overview of what did the customer actually have. So far, our experiences working with Resco has been good. I think for an, let's say, out-of-box solutions, you're actually able to configure a lot of stuff in the app and make it quite personal for the company, at least, that you're working with. And I think there are some very good aspects that from the app in general that we can use in our way to set it up, but also that we are able to configure some things that fits to Kemp Lauritsen's way of thinking business and how we want to do it. And I think that's where there is a big advantage compared to other out-of-the-box solutions. Secondly, the offline process for working offline is very, very important to us, because we are a company that works with technical services. We often find ourselves in basements or somewhere out in nowhere where there's no signal, so it's very important for us to be able to work offline. Our experience has been very good. I would recommend it. Well, We are quite happy. Our technicians are very happy with the change from our old system. So all in all, that's quite good, I would say, from Kemp Lauritsen's perspective. Well, for us, big seller was Resco inspections. No doubt about that. It's a core part of what we want to build in our app. We want as much gathered in one application as possible. It is the best solution to that can again handle actually quite complex setups. We are currently considering Resco routes as a solution because we want to empower our technicians even more. So what was really a key point for us was that we were able to create complex rules in the rule engine, but also that we were able to use JavaScript directly in Resco. And we have, with the help from Uri and Thomas at Resco, in our transition, they actually helped us create a script that was able to fulfill the need that we had for our inspections. So our transition was quite smooth. They helped us install the app. They actually helped us, not the app, but the application integrated into Woodford, and they helped us set up the questionnaires for the first time and understood our business need. For our perspective, the process to transition has been quite easy. I can't really see what should have been done differently. I think Resco invested a lot of time in our solution and understood our need. And the response time so far has been great, and we're really happy with the support that we have gotten for our solution. We are planning to extend to involve more business areas. So right now we have involved like half of our business, but we actually want to involve even more of our business and put as many on the field service platform as possible. Again, to leverage the resources and be able to maximize how we can use our resources the smartest, not the most, but the smartest way. So that's definitely a plan for KNL for the next year. So right now we are looking into an integration where we have 1,500 technicians on, but we want to maybe look into putting the next 500 on as well. So it's a big chunk of people who is going on this solution, and as of right now we have around 600 on the system. So there's still some way to go to the first 1,500, which is our first landmark. And of course, there we will need to develop our solution even more. Our technicians report in much faster. For instance, hours, materials, or whatever they have to report in, they come in instantaneously. Whereas before, our old system was a bit slow. We are able to see definitely in field services, it's faster. And more reliable. Definitely, our data quality has gone up by a lot, really, really a lot. It came from a low point, but right now it is much better. We have, first of all, a full overview over the assets that we have with our customers. Generally, I can say that our technicians, they like the upgrade. They really like it. It's much faster. They can access the customer's data. That's a really important part of our setup, is that we have the offline data, which is what is exactly needed for this current service you're on. But if you want to see what your colleague did last time, you just switch the online button in the Resco, and then you can go and access what he actually did last time. Maybe he also encountered the same problem you had. And they're very happy with this part, our technicians. It's way easier than before, where it was scattered on a dozen different computers and they had it on their desktop or something like that. Now it's all gathered in one system. And yeah, the connectivity is much better. They can just flip the switch and then they're on. right away. So that's a very big point for us, and also that it works seemingly easy with their mobile phones. A lot of them, we actually gave them a lot of them Surface Go, but a lot of them just use their phone because it's way easier. They are used to doing it every single day. Especially the young technicians, they are super fast on the system, so they really like it. So I think generally the happiness with our systems has gone up because we've gone to Resco. Yeah, every day of the week I would recommend it. It, as I said earlier, it has been far for us the best solution that is out of the box, but it's still directly integrated with Dynamics. But you're still able to customize actually a lot, much more than I actually thought in the start. You are able to do because you can make quite complex rules. Um, it definitely is, it's way easier than having to create your own app from the start. So I think there's a lot of possibility in Resco, and I would recommend it every day of the week. Secondly, as I talked about earlier, our transition has been easy. The support has been great. We have a response time. I don't even know how much. It's less than a day, and we mostly get response on our questions. And we've been really happy with that all the way. And we have been attached to one direct contact, which has been great beneficial for us. We didn't have to explain our solution every single time, and he understood where we were coming from. Yeah, a very important thing is for us is IoT, which we are already testing in the market right now. I think this is an area that will develop a lot, and I think it's something that most systems in the future will have to incorporate. With IoT, you could be able to actually do what I would call predictive maintenance, or it is called predictive maintenance, where you actually get the system to get input from the sensors, and then at some point it can say, okay, now let's say with the ventilation, the air suction is not as good as was before. It's probably because the filters needed to be changed. In this way, we are able to actually predict for the customer that we need to go and have a service right now because we can see something in your system that is not acting the way that it should. And I think for our customer, that will be a big advantage that we are able to say to them, you know what, you have a system that we need to go and check out, rather than them either having to wait for it to break down and then call us, or having to have service on a frequency base where maybe half the time it's not even needed, or maybe there's too long between the services. We don't know. It's the same problem basically. And I think that is something that we will look into in the future, and I think it's something that will change the market. And I think the ones that are best at going into predictive maintenance will be the ones who win, if you can say it like that, who will grow, who will get the really fun and big customers, because that is what the customers, I think, in the future wants.